plan here today is to take this shiv off the power steering pump. It's a single groove, and change it out to a double groove. So what we got to do, loosen the tensioner pulley, shiv, whatever you want to call it. Take this belt off, then we're going to take the pulley off, shiv off, whatever you want to call it. And then on the other side here, and then what we're going to do, mount our hydraulic pump and then our air compressor. So it shouldn't be too bad. Oh. That worked out pretty good. Ooh, she's a crispy belt. She hasn't been used, she's a little old. Bingo! We did it! Only took 10 minutes of struggling. And clean that up with some Scotch-Brite. Polish my shaft. The only issue is these pulleys are different spots for them in order to line up. So I might have to shim this out. We'll find out. We're gonna make it work because they don't make parts for this anymore. Because I can't get parts for this truck anymore, it's so old. I thought I ordered the right part online. So I got 0.740 of an inch. So the pulley I got is 0.640 or 65 or whatever. 675. 0.675. So we're almost, what, 100th of an inch out? That makes sense? I don't know. Either way, you sink this drill bit in there. Can't in here. So I'm going to start with the drill bit, make it bigger, and then I'm going to switch to a cutting tool and then finish the last bit. All I got is a real piece of work lathe, so we'll try and make it work with what we got here. Let's see if this works out. .73 now. So we need to do 1/10 of an inch. Somehow. don't know how much of that was filmed because the camera battery died, but this is the first time this really clapped out lathe I got something to tolerance. We need 0.745 and we got 0.7455. Or 456 or 4, depending on, yeah, 0.746. So I'll call that a win. I'm quite happy with that. I was able to, I lined this up with the dial indicator first to make sure it was no wobble in it. And then, yeah, let's go press it onto our brake booster pump shaft. Well, I must have mismeasured because, yeah. So, because it takes a 3/8 bolt, I'm hoping I can cheat and have a bolt hold everything on together, but I might have just wasted $100 on a pulley because I went a little bit too deep. I was so proud of myself too. Oh, well, we're still lined up, so try that out for a bit and see if it holds. Next we gotta do is we gotta shim this back just a little bit for a proof of concept. I found some larger bolts that I had lying around, but they're too big to try and shim this out. I used just some nuts and spacers, all 4 of them, and that gets me enough so that my belt is in line with the new pulley. Had to take the pulley back off to do this, so now we're going to change these out to proper length bolts so I don't have spacers in behind here because the pulley will hit these bolts. Now that we got our double groove pulley on, we got to mount our hydraulic pump and air compressor. So we got to build some custom mounts for that. Thinking is building up a frame off of these bolts, these blind holes here in the block. And we can mount our hydraulic pump right here and our compressor right in this area. We can move this cable out of our way. So let's go see how much we can do. I went and mocked up my placement for my hydraulic pump and air compressor. Built a couple standoffs to get it above the radiator hose and the other belts. So now what we got to do is weld together our standoffs, drill our holes. We can drill it down into the block, weld the plate, the bottom plate to them, and then we can work on mounting the pump and the air compressor on a pivot joint with some jacking bolts, so that way I can tighten both belts. Because the way I have it set up is I'm going to have a front belt for the hydraulic pump and the rear is going to go to the air compressor. I went and kind of placed the hydraulic pump and the air compressor where I want it, up there roughly. And we're going to build both their mounts down here, get them squared up to each other. And then when this is all squared up, I can square this up to the engine and do my tacks underneath on the supports. Got some pipe. We're going to put the pipe like that. Makes 2 hinges for both the pump and the compressor, and then 2 jacking bolts. That way I can tighten the belts. So should work out pretty good. We had to take the pump off the mount, I guess, faceplate mount, whatever you want to call it, in order to get our bolts in, because there was no room to slip them underneath the pump. The holes are square. I triple checked that before I drilled them, but I don't trust my cut to be square.
So have you got another pipe going on here or something? Or why have you only got 2?
Is that not alright? Just 2? And
then I've never built it with 2. I've always built everything with 3. That way it doesn't go like that.
Yep. Well, learn and learn.
Well, you still haven't welded it or anything.
No, I just tapped it.
Oh, look, see the hinges I built over there? They're all 3.
Makes sense. I was thinking that when I was cutting. I was like, oh. Here we go. Just got to weld a nut right here. This is my jacking screw. First one's done. I got to put the air compressor right here. So I took my second plate, drilled and tapped 4 holes, 3/8 bolts. Now I've centered it up. We're going to weld on our hinge. I'm going to go right here. So we'll put a little bit of weld here and here. Then we'll flip her over and put some underneath. Well, I don't want to weld through, especially bearings on a hydraulic pump, so I'm going to take the pump off. I'm going to throw a couple tacks on here just to keep the bottom plate from moving, unbolt it, and then I can flip it over and weld it. Oh, let's do this. I'm going to take the compressor off the mount so that way I can solid weld it without hurting the bearings. I still need to make a gasket for this guy, but for the purposes of getting a belt and everything, that can wait. Yep. That's why you measure twice and cut once. All right then. Just like that. Tighten this one. And then tighten this one. I placed the whole assembly on the 2 pieces of channel iron I already bolted to the timing cover front, so it's a little loose, but I've got my belt sizes, so now I can square up where my belt needs to be, where my pulley and shiv needs to be, and then I can tack the assembly down to those angle iron or channel irons. Take everything off and weld it fully, give it a nice coat of paint, and it should be good to go. Got the perfect size belt for the intermediate and the primary. I'm quite happy. There's like no take up, which is good, so when I tighten this up, I'll have a little bit of play in here to take this up. I'm excited, but unfortunately I ran out of time, so next day's off I will finish this up. But now we're going to have air and hydraulics on this truck again. So instead of this dinky little horn, we're going to have a set of air horns. I got to plumb in the oil feed and oil return line as well as the coolant lines up here. Thankfully, the engine was designed to have an air compressor, so there's ports for everything. So that won't be too hard. Originally, when the engine had a compressor, it would have gone right here. And the oil drain, there's a hole inside here that it drains into, so I can either drill and tap, which I have no interest in doing, or I notice way down here there's a plug, and that goes into the timing cover. So I'm just going to feed the oil drain into there. That plug over there is for the coolant return, and then coolant supply comes from a plug beside that idler pulley. Thanks for watching.